If you're here today, it's because the universe has something important to tell you. This isn't a coincidence. Something deep inside you has drawn you to this message. There is still a strong energy between you and this person, a connection that hasn't disappeared despite everything that has happened. You may have gone through a long period of waiting, silence, or uncertainty. Perhaps you convinced yourself that things were over, that there was nothing left to expect. That the truth is, the time for action has arrived. The universe has been working behind the scenes, and now this person is facing a moment of decision. They are carefully evaluating their feelings, looking at what's in front of them, and asking themselves, is this the right moment? Is something still missing? They have realized one thing for sure, it's time to take action. They miss you, more than they'd like to admit. They've been carrying this longing inside them, trying to suppress it, trying to move on, but it hasn't faded. And now, they're feeling the pull to reconnect. You may not be talking to each other right now, or maybe you've only recently exchanged a few words after a long silence. Either way, they are deep in thought about you. This is someone who tends to live by their own rules, sometimes frustrating those around them. They like control, they don't easily let people in, and they rarely admit when they're wrong. That right now, they are reflecting on the past, revisiting every detail, questioning what they should have done differently. And here's the thing, they've had a change in perspective. For so long, they believed they were making the right choice by keeping their distance, by focusing on themselves. But now, they're seeing things from a different angle. And you might be thinking, I've been here before. I already know how this goes. But this time, something feels different. The universe is bringing this situation back into focus because there's unfinished business between you two. There has been hesitation, delays, and a back-and-forth energy, but now a decision is being made. And even if you don't see it yet, the process has already begun. One of you, maybe them, has started to lose hope. Maybe you felt like you had no choice but to let go. Maybe you told yourself that it was time to move on. But something inside you still wonders, is it really over? The truth is, whether you realize it or not, a seed has been planted. A possibility has opened up again. The door that once seemed firmly shut is now slightly ajar. That the question remains, can something that once brought so much pain truly be revived? Moving forward hasn't been easy. At some point, you had to accept things as they were, even if it meant forcing yourself to move on. You might have convinced yourself that you were over it, that the past was behind you, but deep down, you know, it wasn't that simple. Letting go of someone you love isn't just about time passing. It's about learning to live with the absence, about making peace with the unanswered questions. And for you, that process was painful. You had to rebuild yourself, find ways to fill the empty space they left behind. But even after all of that, something still lingers. For some of you, closing the door on this connection was necessary for your own healing. You needed to protect your heart, to step away so you could regain your sense of self. But here's the truth. Even when we try to move on, certain bonds don't just disappear. And now, the person on the other side of the story is starting to understand what you went through. They've been carrying their own regrets, replaying past mistakes, and wishing they had handled things differently. They've come to realize that their actions or their silence caused pain. They may not have been ready to face it before, but now they can't ignore it. This person wants to tell you something. Not just a casual message, not just an apology, but something real. I don't know where life will take us in 5 years. I don't even know where I'll be in a month. But right now, I miss you. Right now, I need you. There's a part of them that desperately wants to show you that they've changed, that they've learned, that they see things clearly now in a way they didn't before. They spent a long time avoiding commitments, resisting expectations, and running from their emotions. But something inside them is shifting. And yet, the fear remains. They worry. What if it's too late? What if you've truly moved on? What if they come back, only to be met with the same pain they once caused? The weight of the past still lingers between you two, like an invisible thread that neither of you can cut. And even though they've tried to convince themselves that letting go was the right decision, deep down, they know they were only running. There was a time when they thought distancing themselves would make things easier, but instead, it only intensified the ache. They believed that time would weaken their emotions, but instead, it only brought clarity. And now, they see what they couldn't before. They lost something they may never find again. The universe works in ways we don't always understand. Sometimes it keeps bringing people back into our lives, not to repeat the same mistakes, but to give us the opportunity to do things differently. But the question is, are you ready for that? Perhaps deep down, you feel a sense of unfinished business, a feeling that this story hasn't truly ended, even if you've tried to convince yourself otherwise. They know they need to take responsibility for the way things happened. They know they hurt you, even if they never fully acknowledged it before. And now, for the first time, they're beginning to grasp just how much their actions or inaction affected you. And yet, despite everything, the connection between you remains. One of you is still holding on to hope. The other is afraid that too much time has passed. But no matter how much distance there has been, no matter how much silence has filled the space between you, one thing is certain. Something between you two refuses to fade. This connection was never meant to be simple. It wasn't the kind of relationship that follows an easy, predictable path. Instead, it came with lessons neither of you were fully prepared for. This person had to learn what it means to truly care for someone, to show up, to listen, to handle a connection with the respect and responsibility it deserves. And for a long time, they simply weren't ready for that. They thought they were protecting themselves by keeping their distance, by pushing emotions aside. But all they really did was create a void they couldn't fill. Now, they're starting to realize that their fear of commitment, their hesitation, their inability to express themselves, none of it made the feelings go away. If anything, it made them stronger. They know they should have been more present. They should have fought for this instead of walking away. They should have acknowledged your worth while they still had the chance. And now, that realization weighs on them. But you have changed too. You are no longer the same person they left behind. This experience forced you to grow, to redefine what you want and need in a relationship. You have to learn how to choose yourself, even when it hurts. You have to face the painful truth that love, no matter how deep, is not always enough if it isn't nurtured. You have learned how to set boundaries, how to recognize when someone is not meeting you halfway, how to let go when holding on becomes too painful. And that's what makes this situation so complicated. Because now, as they begin to wake up to what they had, you are no longer standing in the same place, waiting for them. So what happens next? They are searching for an answer, just as you are. They want to make things right, but they fear they may have waited too long. They're wondering if they even have the right to ask for another chance. But the truth is, the universe doesn't bring people back into our lives without a reason. There is unfinished business here, an unresolved energy that refuses to dissolve. You may be thinking, I can't go through this again. Or maybe, what if they leave again? But ask yourself this, if you didn't still feel something, if this connection had truly ended in your heart, would you even be here right now, drawn to this message? Whether you realize it or not, a part of you is still listening, and still is a part of them. They want to say something, but they don't know how to start. They want to take action, but they're afraid of your reaction. They want to prove they've changed, but they don't know if you'll believe them. And yet, despite all of these fears, one truth remains. They are being pulled back toward you, no matter how hard they tried to move on. No matter how much time has passed, there's something undeniable about the way you two are connected. It's not just memories or nostalgia, it's a pull, an energy that remains even in silence. This person has tried to ignore it. They've told themselves that it's just in their head, that they can distract themselves with work, with other people, with anything that keeps them from thinking about you. But none of it has worked. They still feel you. And you feel it too. There's a reason why, even after everything, they're still present in your mind. This is the kind of connection that doesn't just dissolve over time. It lingers. It waits. It asks the question, is this truly over? Imagine a crowded room, two people locking eyes across the space, and suddenly, nothing else matters. That's what this is. That's what it has always been. No matter how far apart you are, no matter how much life has changed, the moment you hear their voice, the moment their name appears on your screen, something inside you shifts. But one of you is losing hope. Maybe it's you. Maybe you've told yourself it's time to move on, that you can't keep waiting for something uncertain. Maybe you've convinced yourself that this chapter has closed. And yet, even as you try to move forward, the connection pulls you back. Because deep down, you know, this story isn't finished. This person is realizing now, more than ever, how much they took for granted. They thought they had time. They thought they could figure things out later. But now they see that later doesn't always come. Sometimes opportunities slip through our fingers, and when we finally look up, the person we love is no longer there. That fear is hitting them now. They're asking themselves, did I wait too long? Because here's the truth, when they come back, it won't be as easy as before. They can't just pick up where they left off. They have to prove themselves. They have to show you that they've grown, that this time it's different. And that's what terrifies them. Because what if, after all this time, you no longer feel the same? What if they come back only to realize that you've truly moved on? What if they lost their chance forever? But no matter how many doubts and fears cloud their mind, one thing remains clear to them. They still love you. They never stopped. They can't shake this connection, no matter how hard they've tried. And now, they're being guided to make things right. They are being pulled towards you again, not by chance, but by something greater. The universe isn't done with this story, and neither are you. This person wants you to know something. They never stopped loving you. Even when they walked away, even when they acted as if they didn't care, even when they tried to convince themselves that moving on was the right choice, you were always there, lingering in their thoughts. They tried to distract themselves, to focus on anything else, but nothing truly replaced you. And now, they're ready to admit the truth. They want to prove that this time, things can be different. That they have learned from their mistakes, that they finally understand what they had with you. But they know words aren't enough. They need to show you that here's the thing, you are not the same person who waited for them. You've grown, you've changed, and now the choice is yours. Will you give them the chance to prove themselves? Or will you walk away, knowing that you deserve something more? No matter what happens next, the universe brought you here for a reason. This is not just about the past, it's about what's still possible. It's about stepping into a new beginning, one that comes from a place of clarity and truth. Because love, when it's real, doesn't just fade. It transforms. It challenges us. It asks us to become better versions of ourselves. And now, the universe is asking you, are you ready to listen to your heart? If this message resonated with you, leave a comment saying, I deserve to love and be loved. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.